really beginning to understand that the world looks at you how you see yourself. And I really just mean that in the sense that almost everything that happens to us, almost everything that we say happens to us, is almost a direct result of who we are. And I think that's even a deeper result of who we think we are. I think that so often we almost prevent ourselves from going to where we want to go because we want to feel certain when we get there. But it's about recognizing that any feeling that you would have when you get there is something that you could give to yourself right now. When I say that the world looks at you how you look at yourself, I really just mean that in the sense that, almost I mean it exactly how it is. In the sense that everything that happens to you, everything that you could say happens externally, happens almost a direct result of what we allow ourselves to happen internally. And I really mean that, for example, something I've been thinking about a lot is almost in the sense of getting new shoes. Once you are looking for new shoes and you find shoes that you really, really want, at the time you almost think it's like so cool to have them, and it would be so cool to have them. But then almost once you finally get them, then it's almost like that feeling, it kind of wears off after a little bit. But the feeling didn't wear off because the shoes changed because you just got them. It changed because we no longer saw it as something that was cool. Almost a direct result of who we think we are as people. It's almost in the sense that the reason why the shoes are no longer cool is because we don't see ourselves as people that are capable of doing cool things. And it seems a bit deep to go into just with a simple example like that. But I really just mean in the sense that so often I think we almost tend to believe that things almost lose their novelty. They lose their specialty once we finally have access to them, once we have access to them for a long time as well. But I'm really starting to understand that it only loses its novelty because we don't see ourselves as novel people. Just in the example with the shoes, it's almost in the sense that the reason why we don't think the shoes are cool after we get them is because we didn't see ourselves as people capable of cool things. So it's really just about changing the way that you see yourself and changing the way that you feel right now. Because the present moment is all that we have. And in doing so, you almost allow the things that you want to happen to happen. But at the same time, I also recognize, because it's something that I'm doing right now, that the process of letting go, the process of letting go of almost the external driving the internal is something that's not easy. It's something very, well, now even to say that it's not easy will eventually make it more difficult. But it's really to say it's something that we haven't experienced before. Because, ever since we were young, ever since we were born, essentially, we were almost taught that, you do X, you get Y, or you do X and you feel Y. But it's really about breaking that mold and recognizing that you could feel X, Y, and Z all at the same time. Is you just that you need to allow yourself to. It's about recognizing how much power that we have over our own internals. And in the sense that it's the only thing that we truly have control over. Because the external world, anything external to us, is something that we can influence, but it's ultimately not something we can control. And even when I say our internal, I don't necessarily mean everything about ourselves as well. Because it's not like I can add a single hair to my head. It's not like I can make myself grow taller. So when I say internal, I really mean that our mental and spiritual state. Because I think those are the only two that are really, really in our control. But deeper than that, I think the mental, it's not fully in our control as well. So the only thing that we do have full control over, I think, is our spiritual and our spiritual lives and almost that level of our existence. Everything else is something that we can influence and possible to influence to a great extent, but it's not something that we have complete control over. So it's really just about recognizing how much power that we have over the present moment and allowing yourself to almost look at yourself how you want to see yourself. And you look at yourself how you want the world to see you. And in doing that, you almost let go of the necessity of the world seeing you that way. But then, paradoxically, once you let go of the world of wanting to see the world see you that way, then the world finally begins to see you that way. So I'm really just trying to understand that it's about letting go. It's about recognizing that how you see yourself is how the world sees you. So it's really about seeing yourself how you want to be. And I don't mean that in a sense to be delusional, but really seeing yourself that way. And not just seeing it, but embodying it, feeling it. And in doing so, it's not necessarily that, oh, you see yourself one way, but you don't take any action. But in through embodying and through feeling, it's almost that you naturally take action because it becomes a part of who you are. So, that's really just what I've been thinking about recently. I have a Bible verse that goes to the topic of this video pretty well. It's taken from Ephesians 2 verse 10. And it says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." So I really think that This combined with other scriptures that really just shows that we should focus on the things of the spirit and not of the world. It kind of shows what I'm talking about in the sense that we can control the way that we feel. We can control our spiritual world, and everything else is something that we could only influence. So it's really about making the change that you want to see in the spiritual world, and really just having faith and praying that everything else will happen as well. But in doing so, I also think that once you give yourself something spiritually, then it's no longer something that you really need externally and in the physical world. So then, but like I said, paradoxically, once you don't no longer need something, then that's when it finally appears to you. So, that's what I've been thinking about recently. I hope you took something from this video. Thank you for watching.